the sandbox, the opportunities, and the dangers that lie ahead of us. What is going on, everyone? Welcome back on Blockchains. And yes, I'm going to talk about the sandbox again. And I know that I've been playing this note many times recently, but I literally feel compelled to discuss this project because of what is going on in the market for this particular token, but in general, in the entire market around the metaverse narrative at large. Now, I want to add one piece. I know that I haven't been publishing that much lately. I'm trying to restructure the channel. I want to do more data-driven stuff, so I'm preparing some dashboard that I can use more routinely, and that will allow me to produce more standardized content. But at any rate, let's jump right in, because I will discuss some bullish cases. So basically, why I personally believe that we still have some room to grow for this project in the immediate short term, but also I will discuss some risks, so a little bit of a bear case in the next weeks. So let's look at the chart first, at the general chart on OpenSea first. And one of the first things that I want to point out, guys, is the topic around the conversation around volumes, because we say this time and time again on this channel. If you see volumes picking up paired with, preceded by a strong consolidation where, however, people did keep on buying, and then at some point you do see the volumes picking up, that's typically a very bullish sign. Now, this is not an exact science, but it's almost an exact science. We talked about this point over and over again. And here we are seeing more and more volume coming in. This is very positive, because it's a proxy for attention. It's a proxy for so many people coming to the market that are interested in these projects, and they'll buy, right? So they want to invest into this idea, invest into this project. At least this is what, just looking at the volumes, this is what it tells you. And also we are starting to see a parabolic inflection here, and it's very interesting in my opinion. Now, what is up next? Right? This is what everyone is asking. Now, I want to look at some more sophisticated chart to discuss that point. And what I want to show you guys, first of all, the first thing, is that the sales for the Sandbox land plots are sort of following a bimodal pattern. Okay, what do I mean by a bimodal pattern? That there are two large clusters, two large channels of price. One is what we would normally consider as the floor price level on the Sandbox when we go and we look for a buy now token in Ether, okay? And this is the price point level, and this is how it has been moving. The other channel, this one down here, is sort of the more opportunistic plays. Basically, these are people that are selling below floor price simply because they are seeking exit liquidity immediately. And typically these transactions occur in wrapped Ether. Let me show you what I mean in practice. When we go here and we look at the activity log, what we find is that there are transactions at these price points. And these are all occurring below the current floor level at around 2. All the rest, all the one in Ethereum, are occurring above 2, but all the others are occurring below, with some exceptions, of course, maybe, but the vast majority will be around 1.5, even around 1 sometimes. And this is because many people would like to sell at a higher price, but somebody shows up with a lower offer, and they say, okay, I'm still going to accept the money, although it's a lower offer, simply because I want to have the money now. And this is what this graph is showing us, right? This sort of bimodal pattern. Now, what do we do with this information? The most important thing is that we have to look, if we are in this for the long run, and if we don't need to sell immediately, we need to look at these price points and what is happening at these price levels. So if I zoom in and look at the action that occurred a couple of days ago, a bit more, what I see that is interesting is that this level of price was moving up, but there were often other price levels that were very frequent as an exchange price point, and that were super important because then they have become the new price point, the new floor price point. For instance, 1.5. We were at a floor price of 1.4, but you saw here from this chart that 1.5 was becoming more and more relevant as a price point at which many exchanges were occurring. And then what happened at some point? The deals at 1.4 were not there anymore, and so boom, this became the new floor. Then if we move toward the right, we see how many transactions were occurring between 1.5 and 2, even though the floor was at 1.5. But then it went up first to this level, 1.75, which we stuck for a little bit. And then see this area here between 1.75 and 2 got dense, more and more dense, until we literally jumped to 2. So what you want to look for is when the density of points between two important price levels, two very frequent price levels, is increasing. So the density of points here is increasing, if you see, between 2 and 2.5. See, there are few transactions here, then more and more, then more and more, then more and more. So this is bullish, guys, because it means that many people are buying above the floor because they want to buy the right plot of land that they want, right? So this is also one more reason why I believe that this project, this particular token, has still room to grow, but not indefinitely. And here is why. And here I want to segue into the second part of the video where I sort of discuss more of the bear case, or at the very least the risks that are out there. Now, if you've been following the narrative and the stories in the Sandbox blog, you might already know that the Sandbox Alpha is about to be released. Basically, they will release an alpha version that will entail some missions and some of them will be play to earn, and they will be play to earn for a subset of players, namely the players that will hold the alpha pass. That's how this token is called. Now, how do you get your hands on an alpha pass? You need to be selected in a raffle, and you access the raffle by holding land. This literally translates into buy land if you want to have this play to earn dynamic where you can win up to 1,000 sand, right? So people want land also because they want to access that, also because they want to put their hands on this extra optionality, this extra utility that is randomic, but it's still there, although it's randomic. And they say, I want to have this, I want to enter this raffle, maybe I'll win this token, and then I will be able to sell this token or to play. Now, unfortunately, what usually happens when there is these randomic aspects built into a token is that up until the moment of the reveal, the price tend to go up. But then shortly after the reveal, not immediately maybe, but shortly after the reveal, the value of the token goes down. And this is because that expectation that was priced in by the market is not there anymore. And this can happen in many different forms. One example that I've covered on this channel is the one connected to the Mechaverse. If you remember, when you were buying the Mechaverse token, or when you were receiving a Mechaverse token, you were receiving a token that was not characterized. It was a pre-reveal token. And everyone was hoping to get the rare ones. But then after the vast majority got a non-rare one, a rather common one, the value of the token from pre-reveal to post-reveal, the average value went down. This is because the vast majority of people got non-rare tokens. So the floor went down, which is why I expect a correction in price for land after the alpha reveal. Now, if you are in this for the very long run, if you have a buy and hold strategy, don't bother moving anything because this will be just a blip in the chart. But if you have a more speculative approach, or more precisely, for instance, if your story is you have 10 plots, you are up 5-6x already, what I personally would do, and this is not investment advice, but what I personally would do if that was my story, I would say, maybe let it run for a little bit more, and then I would take some profit for a couple of plots, say, or for one plot, just before the reveal. As I said, none of this is investment advice, but this could be an opportunity to take some profits. At least, as I mentioned, if you are in this not for a super long term, but for rather, or a shorter bet, say a shorter time bet. Now, guys, I hope that this video covered the essentials for you how to navigate this market for this specific token right now. If you found it useful, please remember to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. Now, thank you very much for your time, and see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.